All right, welcome. I want to talk about the current favorites from each division to win their division this upcoming year. It's middle of July. It's really early. There's still a lot of decent unrestricted free agents that are yet to sign. We're yet to see what teams will look like, lines will look like going to training camp. There's a lot of questions. We still got the trade deadline and all that stuff in the near future or far future. But right now, who do I think are the favorites to win each division? Um, Metro Division, it's Carolina and or New Jersey. I could see both of them duking it out for that top spot. New York Rangers, I think they'll easily be in third. I don't think they'll be too far off. But Carolina, top of the division every year. Pretty solid team from top to bottom, offense, defense, goaltending with Ronta, Freddie Anderson, and Kochekov as that third. Um, New Jersey, I think both these teams just got better, and they were already excellent last year. My question for New Jersey is the goaltending. I think their offense is fantastic and deep. I think their defense is pretty solid. It's just is Vanacek or Schmid, is that your duo? Do you go out and get Hellebuck? If so, are you giving up a main piece of your team in order to get Hellebuck? Carolina Hurricanes, my question with them is the offensive production going to be there? Is Aho a point per game type of player, or will he be above a point per game type of player? Svechnikov, hopefully he comes back fully healthy. I think he's still skating or came back starting to skate. He's a guy that could potentially score 50 goals. I don't see that as not being. I think at some point he'll probably hit the 50 goal mark or be close. He's a really talented scorer. It'll be interesting. Not super high on the addition of Bunting. I think he helps your team, doesn't make it worse, but at the same time, I don't think you're getting a lot of offensive production from them. Maybe it depends what line he plays on. But overall, my question with Carolina is the scoring. Question with New Jersey is the goaltending. On to the Atlantic. Kills me to say this because, again, I have to keep repeating this. I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Bruins fan. I think Toronto, I think it's their division to lose. They're going to run it back with the same team they've had. They've been a great regular season team for years now. Bruins are going to take a step back. They've lost some key pieces already. We still don't know if either of their top two centers are coming back. I don't see them repeating the season they had last year. But Toronto had a very good regular season as well. They got off to a pretty slow start last year and just like the year before, just caught fire and plowed the rest of the way through the season. I think it's Toronto's to lose. We'll see. It's going to be tough to see what Boston and maybe Tampa do this offseason. Maybe Florida Panthers, Buffalo Sabres, if they go out and they acquire a goaltender like Connor Hellebuck, all of a sudden we could be talking about Buffalo being a contender. Probably not for the division, but that's a conversation for later. But right now, it's Toronto. I think it's Toronto's to lose. I don't think they'll have a lot of playoff success because they keep running back with the same team with the same result for how many years now. But regular season, I think they're my favorite to win the division. Central, it's Dallas. It's got to be Dallas. Dallas, again, just got better in the offseason. There's no question about it. They added, they didn't subtract. Colorado, a lot of subtractions. They've lost their second line center in Compher, who did okay as a second line center, but it's probably not the best role he's suited for. They lost some other key pieces up in Colorado. I got some big question marks about them, especially when it comes to depth scoring. I think their defense will be fine. Their goaltending will be fine. Georgiev, even back in his Rangers days, was good. He was solid. He was making a case to be number one. His stats just weren't there. But his mechanics, his overall play style, it was solid. He had a really good foundation. So I'm not too worried about the goaltending in Colorado, especially behind the defense like that. But I think it's Dallas's to lose. I think Colorado comes in second, and I think it's pretty straightforward there. Pacific, you got Vegas. They just won the Stanley Cup. They surprisingly didn't lose as many players as you would expect a team that close to the cap would lose. They signed Aiden Hill. They did lose Riley Smith, 20-goal guy. I'm not sure about the playoff success they'll have. This is going to sound crazy. I still do have questions about their goaltending. And any NHL level goaltender behind a defense as good as Vegas is going to have decent stats. And I think we saw that with what they do, like 4 or 5 goaltenders this year. They had a net. Yeah. So if that defense, like if Shea Theodore goes down with a pretty major injury and has to miss substantial time, or they get a couple guys that are injured, how is that goaltending going to hold up? I have questions. I don't doubt it can't be good, especially with Logan Thompson coming back. I've always liked Adin Hill. I think he can be a quality number 1 goaltender, but his stats would tell you otherwise. So I love Adin Hill. I love his game. I'm glad he got paid. I'm glad it's not a long-term contract. I'm not a big fan of long-term goalie contracts. But is he your guy? Can you rely on him to win you a few more games than you would otherwise? Same issue in Edmonton. It's more goalie and defense. I think a whole year with Matthias Ekholm will be fantastic. I love Ekholm. They still have to sign Bouchard, who will command some money. Is Stuart Skinner your guy? Does Jack Campbell have a bounce-back seasons? There's questions on the back end with Edmonton. Their offense is there. They're going to score. A question, I guess, would also be their depth scoring as well. But when you got 2 lines with 250 goal scorers and in McDavid, Draisaitl, you have the best power play that's ever, the best power play in the history of the NHL. You're going to win your fair share of games, and you're going to win a good amount. Vegas, Edmonton, I think it's a toss-up. I'd probably give the edge to Vegas because I have less questions about Vegas. But it wouldn't surprise me if either of these teams won the division. So right now, these are my favorites. I'll do full reviews, standings near training camp. So later on, I don't know, maybe late August, middle August to middle September. We'll probably start rolling those out. But for now, these are them. Obviously, there are other players that are still available that can really boost a team. Trades are still yet to happen, especially with Winnipeg and Calgary. There's some players that we could see traded out there. Matt Dumba is a top 4 defenseman. That could really bolster a team's defense, especially because he's starting to play a more team-oriented defense rather than focusing on the offensive aspect of the game. Tatar can probably get you 20 more goals. So if Vegas is looking for a cheap replacement, Tatar might be able to probably not produce at the rate of Riley Smith, but provide some of that goal scoring that you might be missing otherwise. So there's still stuff to figure out. It's still early, but I kind of want to talk about where teams are at and where they're projecting to be once the regular season starts, and hopefully if you're fans of these teams, hopefully they finish at top of the division. We'll see. We'll find out in just under a year from now. So patience. But yeah, just wanted to do this quick video and talk about who my favorites are at this moment to win each division. So I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Got the Marc-Andre Fleury jersey. Vegas won, but I think it's one of the biggest tarnishes on that franchise at the moment was that Fleury trade. Got the Boston Bruins hat. Best regular season team in history. Put an asterisk next to it if you want. I don't care. I'm a Bruins fan. I'm going to live in the moment. Go Bruins. I hope they figure out their center depth, and maybe I can put them on this board in, a few weeks. Thank you guys. I appreciate you. Take care, all right?